Well, happy E-Days and E-Days month and Lunch Bunch kind of aligns with the celebration at Mines. It's really an exciting time. I think it's exciting just because we're starting to come out of being apart from each other. I think E-Days is really reflecting that this year as the students are going to still be on campus and are still celebrating. And I think we're fortunate to have the leadership and the students that have the initiative to make it happen. So, but Lunch Bunch, it's our informal monthly get together with faculty, alumni, staff, students, friends of the university to learn about the people and programs of Minds. I'm Andy Flynn, classes of 86 and 98, and the Director of Alumni Engagement. And I want to thank you for making time to join us today. If this is your first Lunch Bunch, welcome. And for our regular attendees, thank you for your continued support and welcome back. But we are excited this month to shine the spotlight on one of mine's most beloved traditions, E-Days. I don't know, for me, I think E-Days was about the day off. And then there's a lot of fun surrounding it, but it is one of the days everyone looks forward to on campus. During today's presentation, we're going to hear from current senior and chair of this year's E-Days, as I said, a senior, Milena Polaron. Oh, I'm so sorry, Lala. So, Lala for short, and Alexandra Demopoulos, Assistant Director of Student Engagement. And they're going to share with us what's planned for this year and what adjustments have been made with regard to COVID
You unmute yourself.
to ensure the health and safety for all of our participants. We'll also spend a little time sharing our favorite E-Days memories and stories, and then end the program with a few fun trivia questions. And for those who get the right answer, we'll share some fun swag with the winners. But before I ask Lala and Alex to further introduce themselves and start the program, a few quick reminders. Some of you may have submitted questions ahead of time. We've shared them with our speakers. We'll also take questions in the chat. So please we'll keep an eye on that and put any questions you may have there, and we'll come back to it after the program or during the program. All of the Lunch Bunch programs are recorded and can be accessed on the Lunch Bunch page of the alumni website at weare.mines.edu. So if you missed one, want to listen again, or want to share with a friend, click on the View Previous Events at the bottom of that page, and you can access the archive. Lastly, if you have any ideas for future speakers or topics, please share them with us. We're always looking for suggestions. And with that, let's get ready for E-Days. Lala and Alexandra, take it away.
Do I come through on that side?
Yeah.
I'm not getting anybody at all.
Hopefully George can
Lala,
his audio.
you're in charge.
But yeah, like Andrew mentioned, my name is Lala. I'm currently a senior studying civil engineering here at Mines, and I'm this year's E-Days chair from MAC. I will let Alexandra give a short introduction to herself as well.
Hi, I'm Alexandra. I am the Assistant Director here in SAIL, the Student Activities Involvement and Leadership Office. And my primary role is to advise and kind of oversee MAC in all of the wonderful things they do.
Yeah, so today we're just gonna give you guys a quick little rundown of, the awesome weekend we have planned. Starting today, I will show you guys our actual theme release video. We'll talk about some of the planning and go over the general schedule for this weekend as well. Then we can also touch on some of the differences in like COVID guidelines and things that we've had to establish and incorporate into this year's E-Days. So the theme for this year's E-Days is Save the City Days. We get to the theme every year. It's actually a quite collaborative process involving the student body. So we have an all committee meeting in the fall, sometime usually right after homecoming. And we let, whoever wants to attend the meeting, they come, they give us all sorts of ideas for the theme. Sometimes they're a little bit wacky. We've had cheesy days, sleepy days, corgi days. So we let them tell us different ideas for the theme, artists they would like to see, and then Mac and the entire council, we kind of go and we narrow down that list, and then we end up choosing the final theme. And so this year we decided on Save the City Days. Very superhero-esque, kind of that hope after, the tough year everyone had for 2020. And so I am going to go ahead and share my screen and show everybody the theme release video that we revealed to the entire campus. Bear with me, there may be technical difficulties to start with audio and maybe lagging video, but we are going to make it through. Cool. And everybody can see that so far, hopefully. Oh, actually, give me 1 second. I did not share my audio. Okay, there we go.
Myself in a moment, can't find my way out for days. I'll come to you on my hands and knees, on my hands and knees. I ran out of luck, but I'll stop, and nothing's gonna change that. Whoa, and when it's too much, you how am I supposed to make this right again? Oh.
good, thanks.
Hey, think about walking away. Think about all of the ways I've changed. That's when you told me you hope that the old me might show up. He's not coming back. Oh, I can see the moon from my kitchen, but I cannot see through this decision. I close my eyes and cross the line. Now I'm breaking out. Yeah, you brought me down. Now I'm breaking out. I'm breaking out. I'm breaking out. I'm breaking out. Can't break me down. I'm breaking out. Can't break me down. I'm breaking out. Do.
Yeah, so that was our theme release video. Especially in the last few years, Mac has partnered with filmmakers at Minds, and they've helped us produce some very intricate videos to help reveal the theme to the entire campus. So big shout out to them. I think that was probably my favorite theme release video since I've been at Minds. So besides that, we can go over the general schedule for the weekend. For the most part, the schedule looks very similar to how it has looked in the past. Really, the only difference this year is we had to cut out the ORCART pool. Unfortunately, that is probably my favorite part of E-Days, so I was pretty devastated when we had to do that, but very understandable due to COVID and everything else going on. So besides the usual schedule, we also have a lot of virtual events planned out. And those are denoted in the gray there. So we've got our Minecraft server opening. It actually opened this morning at 8. Throughout the weekend, there will be a bunch of different mini games occurring within that Minecraft server. So for example, Hunger Games just started about 20 minutes ago. Later on today, we've got Cookies with Kappa Alpha Theta, and that's out on Pedestrian Plaza. We've got a Bourbon Master Cocktail Making class. We were very excited about that one as well. I think our capacity for that one is 100 people. We had people sign up via our link. And then later tonight, we've got our comedians, David and Marcella. So that was originally planned for D-Lot. Due to the weather, we had to move that into Bunker, and capacity had to decrease a bit due to that. And then also later tonight, we've got Sigma Kappa's Ultimate Ore Digger competition. And that rounds out today, Thursday. Tomorrow, it's a pretty busy day as well. We've got 2 sessions for the Tesla coil, one at 10 a.m., another one at noon. Those are both going to be in Bunker, and that is kind of led by Sale. Later in the day, we've got Field Day, which was put on by our awesome Field Day committee heads, Drake and Catherine. Last I checked, we had 40-something teams registered. We'll be super spread out between both of the intramural fields as well as D-Lot. We've got food trucks coming. People can spectate and or participate, whatever they choose to do. And then we've also got our Trebuchet competition going on. So another normal event as in years past. Video game tournament being Smash Brothers at 5:30, and then our F&E or Friday night event is going on also in D-Lot. And I'll talk about this a little bit more, but the setup for our concerts, it's going to be pod style. But yeah, I will get into that a little bit more once we get to our headlining concert. And then Saturday is a super busy day. You've got mining games starting at 8 a.m. That's right outside Pi-Fi. Cardboard boat races, a very staple part of E-Days. I think it's everybody's favorite. That's still happening over at Clear Creek. I know a bunch of my friends have created a team. My friends specifically, they are making their boat themed towards the SpongeBob superheroes featured in one of the episodes. So I'm excited to see pictures from that. We've got a yoga class going on, the car show. We've got 2 sessions for Carnival, one from 11 to 12:30. We are going in disinfecting for half an hour after that, getting people out. And then we have our second session starting at 1 and going until 2:30. We will also be announcing our E-Days award winners from each of the departments on campus at Carnival. We got a couple more video game tournaments of Mario Kart and Among Us. And then our headlining concert is, the opener is Gianni and Kyle, with the headliner being Bad Sons. And that'll be at 7 o'clock also in D-Lot. Like I mentioned, the concerts are going to be pod style. So we're having pods made of the bike fencing, and it's 5 people per pod, all from the same household. They had to register in advance. Everybody had to prove a negative COVID test, and everybody has to arrive at the same time tonight. Or not tonight, but Friday and Saturday evening. And then of course, weather dependent, fingers crossed, our fireworks show will be happening 9:30. So let me stop sharing my screen. But yeah, overall, the planning process behind E-Days has been a lot. I mean, it's always a lot. When people ask me if I was prepared, I want to say yes, but also no. COVID has just added another aspect of planning. But I want to thank Alexandra, the rest of SAIL, the rest of MAC. They've been an awesome team to work with. Yeah. COVID has also made things difficult with, I want to say, campus participation and student participation in general with planning. Usually every year we have anywhere between 120 to 150 committee members who volunteer their time to help make all these different events happen. This year we've had 55, and we've had to meet over Zoom, so all the time virtually, and I think everyone is just kind of burnt out on that aspect. But I am proud of, this weekend, how it's going to turn out, and all the hard work that everyone has put in. So, Alexandra, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I can do just kind of a brief rundown of how things have kind of like shifted and all of that due to COVID. So we are always working, I mean, just normally the school is working really close with the county, with Jefferson County, and then, state guidelines in general for any sort of events. We have worked really closely with our CRIT team, which is our COVID response, I think it's COVID response and intervention team on campus. So we've partnered with them for this. So all of our events are ticketed. So even if it's a free event, students still had to go in and reserve a ticket. So then that way we could limit our capacity. And if we needed to do any sort of contact tracing, we could. Students also have to have a negative COVID test as of this week. So we have a free testing site on campus through COVID Check Colorado. And so they receive those results. So then that way they can cross-reference with those folks who have reserved a ticket, and then those who are in the system for their COVID test. Of course, if someone got one just at their primary care physician, there's a way that we can get that as well through working with that student. And then we can compare if there are any students who are supposed to be in quarantine or isolation, and then just go through and cancel their tickets for them. So like Lala was saying, for the concerts, they're all in pods. They have to arrive with their pod, up to 5 people, and everyone has to show their blaster card upon entry, because we're being very strict this year about no outside guests from campus coming. So usually we'll have some, students who have friends up at CU Boulder that would want to come and join for the concert. But unfortunately this year it is a no-go for them. So it is strict for Mind students only, which kind of just helped give a greater opportunity for them to be able to reserve tickets, especially since the capacities are a little tighter this year. And in terms of other turnout, about half of our campus has seen an actual kind of pre-COVID E-Days, if you will. So our senior class and our junior class, but the first year students and second year students have not, which I think kind of works out to our advantage, because we just kind of get to recreate the wheel a little bit here. And then going forward, we'll see where we're at with COVID in our world. But yeah, so far, I think we're fortunate to have the campus partners that we do. And I think our students are really committed to being safe this weekend, so that this weekend could happen in general. But yeah, so if anyone has any questions about any of that, feel free to ask.
Yeah, I'll start that off, Alexandra or Lala. You can maybe chime in. So share a little bit of the storyline of your theme release video. I think it was quite fun, and I read some of the backstory to it. But for those that might be haven't seen that, it is kind of an interesting story and fun to share.
Yeah. One in the planning process, a big idea that we've kind of played on a lot is the idea of heroes versus villains. And so even on our shirts, we have on the hero side we have Super Marvin, and then on the villain side we have Warvin. So the whole theme release video is kind of based on, there's Marvin. He's trying to do his homework, and he can't figure out this physics question. What does F equal? Which I think is just something that is very related to mines, I guess. Every mine student will understand that because every mine student has to go through at least Phys 1. And so we all know the struggles of going through Long Campa, which was the website he was using, getting the red box when you don't get it correctly. And so Marvin is just getting super angry. He eventually turns into Super Warvin. And then the only way he can be defeated is by the collaboration of, some of the superheroes who were based on the different majors at mines. So there was like Seismo, who was a geo major. Electro, which is an electrical major, and then the chemist, kind of. So it played on a lot of the themes of like collaboration, especially in kind of the dark times that 2020 presented. After that collaboration, we were able to defeat Warvin, and he was able to solve his homework. So I thought it was a very fun idea when filmmakers first presented it to Mac as just a preliminary idea. And I think the presentation turned out well.
I thought you did a great job.
I think it's cute too. And do you start, do you say, hey, my filmmakers at Mines, here's the theme, go for it, and then just see what they come up with? Or are you actively in fact, were you in the video, Lala? Was that you with the
I was in the video, yes. I was Seismo.
I think that's her. Obviously you work very closely with them. But they're such a creative force. Their videos have been super fun over the years, and I always look forward to the release of the theme. It's a big deal, and you don't let it out of the bag until about 2 weeks before, right?
Yeah. It's a very strict secret. We tell all the community members too. Don't tell anybody. We're gonna take away the free packet if you do. So, yeah.
That's awesome. I had a question about the sponsors that I just happened to catch a glimpse of on your itinerary as you were running through the schedule. Do you have new sponsors that have joined on this year? Do you have the same sponsors year after year? Were there some who said, oh, COVID, can't do it? I mean, what was your experience working with sponsors, and how much of your budget do you try to cover with sponsorships, if not all of it?
Yeah. So I was fortunate enough, last year's E-Days chair, Maya, she did a wonderful job of getting sponsors, and thankfully, I think most, if not all of them, decided to move their sponsorships from last year to this year.
Mhm.
So that has been a super easy process. It was as simple as reaching out to them, asking them for their necessary materials, whether that be logos and ads for our e-zine, banners that we display at our different events. So that's usually a big part of, I want to say, the E-Days chair duties, especially first semester, is reaching out to those sponsors, trying to get as many contributions as possible. And a good portion of our budget, I would say, is due to those sponsorships. So they choose to sponsor different events. So for example, Fast Enterprises, they are sponsoring our comedian event tonight. I don't think any of the concerts specifically are covered by anyone, but there's usually a specific facet of E-Days that they choose to cover.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good job.
I had another question, I guess, Lala. do they have some of the traditional kind of like, drilling or mudjacking or other events planned?
Trad- Alexandra, you look like yeah, go ahead.
I think maybe you're thinking of mining games.
Yeah.
So those ones take place on, I believe it's Saturday morning. It was on the schedule. So that's kind of like the whole mining department kind of runs that one. And this will be my third E-Days, so I haven't seen one yet. I'm gonna go stop by this weekend to go check it out. But yeah, that takes place. And I've heard really great things, and they're a super great department to work with. And so that happens kind of like in the field next to one of the sorority houses. And then by Q Lot, there's this big rock that they drill into every year. So that'll still take place.
Good. So I heard stories, and not that I ever saw it, that there was some competitions around finishing a keg. Each department, and I don't know if that still happens or not. Maybe
Oh no, I'm sure it doesn't, Andy. Sorry, I'm just joking.
So that is not affiliated with MAC or like anything that we do. And just from a COVID standpoint, we have really pushed that messaging out to departments that please do not encourage your students to do this. Even in terms of like, because some of our events like Carnival, there is beer that is served there. Tickets can purchase, or excuse me, students can purchase a ticket. It's a beer wristband, and there's 3 tickets. And those are all just cans or bottles. We're not trying to mess with reusable cups this year. It's not the year. So yeah, so even that. So hopefully they have followed suit and are not doing those keg races. But yes, traditionally that is a thing.
Good to know. Good to know. Any other questions for
I have
Lala?
a question for Lala. With this being your last E-Days as an undergrad, at least, what has been your favorite E-Days memory? I know you said the Orcart pull, but is there a different one that's like maybe more, like one that didn't happen all the time or something?
I do say I remember a really memorable time was freshman year at Carnival, I think. The theme was Lost at Sea Days, and there was the mechanical surfboard. I tried it, and I definitely failed. But the Carnival heads this year are bringing it back, so I will be trying it again this year at this year's Carnival, and hopefully I can do it a little bit better.
That's awesome.
Well, this may be a good chance to, for those on the call, to share some, Minds E-Days memories that you may care to share. I'd love to hear one from Marv, but I'll start up because those are certainly different times. I remember those, especially in E-Days and the fireworks, and they used to hold them down in Brooksfield, where it's Marv K Stadium now, and Sigma Nu fraternity would put that on, and it was always quite an adventure of what might happen from that, aside from the dynamite blasts that I think shook every building within a half mile or mile of the stadium. But it was always kind of an adventure as to what, not if, but what was going to catch on fire. It was not certainly your most professional show. They were absolutely great fireworks shows, but it was always, there was a little bit of tension of what might happen just because it was not a professional staged event. So, but that was just always fun, and you could hear those blasts from across campus.
Oh my gosh. I have a quick follow on to that. The first year that I worked at one of the first years I worked at Minds, the Alumni Association offices were located in Coolbaugh House, which is that great old house on the corner of 17th and Illinois. And that year we invited local alums to come and bring a late kind of picnic supper with your family. And we could sit on the lawn and on the porch and sort of hang out. And then when it was time, we all walked up to the intramural fields to watch fireworks. So everybody gathered their things, gathered their blankets and their baskets, and they walked up, and I stayed behind to close up the house. So if you're familiar with Coolbaugh House, the kitchen windows look right toward the IM fields. They look, the back of the house. So I'm watching everybody walk up and get settled. And oh my gosh, I mean, I'd never experienced a Mines fireworks show before. And you're right, Andy, when they lit off that dynamite to kick it off, I just was like, what was that? I mean, literally the house just shook, and it was just a block away. I couldn't believe it. So of course I'm staring there. My eyes are as big as saucers watching this. And I remember driving home that night, heading up 93 toward my house. And there was not a single car on the road because everybody had pulled off to the side to watch the fireworks. I mean, it's a thing. And I got a really good taste of that night. I'll never forget it. Not only that, but it was the first time I'd ever heard alumni sing the fight song. Completely spontaneous, just out of nowhere. But they were getting ready to leave. And one of the guys in the group just started singing, and the whole group chimed in. And I said, oh, sing it again. That's awesome. So yeah, that will always be a memory I keep with me. And one of my first E-Days, just experiencing those traditions. Very cool.
One activity that we used to have at E-Days was the push ball contest. And I'm not sure when they ceased that. I think it was probably around 66 or 67 something. But it was this big inflatable ball that was about, I think must have been about 10 feet in diameter, maybe near it, 8. And probably a weather balloon or something, but it truly was an inflatable ball. And you played a soccer game with this thing. And usually it was like, I think Theta Tau versus Sig Gam, which always kind of existed. It was a competition between two groups. And the thing about this ball was that when it got rolling with momentum, I mean, it would throw you. I mean, if you did it, it would literally throw you. And I think what finally shut it down was somebody, I don't know if it was a spectator, student, or whatever, was there in a wheelchair, not participating, but as a spectator. And this ball was out of control, as it always was, hit this poor spectator. I mean, just blew him up. I mean, it was just, thank goodness this person was not hurt. But I think that was the last episode of push ball. It was quite a fun event to participate in, actually.
Actually, Stu, I don't know whether it went away and then came back. The push ball was still going strong in '79 when I was there. And you're right, it was Theta Tau, because Theta Tau used to run the whole Orcart push all the way down. But one of my memories was probably in 1977-ish, I'm thinking. So there was less than 5% females on campus. There was a day. And I must say, one of which I have been blessed to be married to for 41 years. But the baseball team decided we needed to make a run up to Fort Collins to CSU. And we went in sororities and collected a bunch of dates and brought them back down to campus in Golden, and everybody had a very good evening.
It was funny the way you described that. That's the way we did do dates in those days. If somebody had a car, they would basically, and you use the word collect, which is probably not appropriate, but probably accurate. And it was a case of who wants to come to Golden for a party, and everybody'd pile in and head up.
Oh, so fun.
It was usually competition with the Air Force cadets at that time. So.
Yep.
Love it.
About you, Marv, do you have anything to share?
I think being a mining engineering graduate, I always participated in the mining contest, and I served on the committee, I think, for just about every year I was on school and in school. And we talked about the push ball contest, but it's a wonderful weekend, and I think it comes at a wonderful time. And I think as now, I think all students kind of look at it as a day off and kind of relax before finals and graduation, and everybody appreciates all the organization of the committee and this type of thing. And it was always a great weekend. I have wonderful memories. I think during those times, we always, instead of a concert on Saturday night, I think we had a dance, an all-school dance. And we also picked, at that time, we picked the E-Day Queen, and she kind of reigned over E-Day. And it was just a wonderful weekend. And all of the students enjoyed it. And it was always fun to have participants from other campuses come on and see what we really were like at Mines, and all the fraternities. And there weren't many sororities at that time, if any, but all participated and had events at the different houses. And it was just a great weekend. Everybody enjoyed it. And I certainly have wonderful memories.
Awesome.
Great times. And I think it's a tribute to Lala, Alexandra. I mean, the whole day's weekend that takes place, all the people that get to enjoy it campus wide and otherwise, it seems so easy because you show up and just participate. But the planning it takes to make it happen is tremendous, and it's a tribute to you both and your committees, that those types of things happen and continue to happen, and thank you for all that effort. So, well, I think we have another activity planned. We put together some trivia questions. We got 5 questions, and the idea will be we'll post the question up, and then people can answer in the chat, and the first correct answer will win. We'll share the surprise award at the finish, and if you can win one time, since there's only 5 questions, everyone can participate. And if you have won already and you get a quick answer in again, we'll give that prize to the second answer in. So please enjoy this. I think it does bring back a few memories, plus a little bit of history from Mines. So
does everybody have their chat up ready so that you can you'll type in either A, B, C, or D for the answer? You don't have to type out the whole answer, but
yep.
Anyway, ready, go. Okay, here we go.
Great. First answer wins. Go E-Days.
Woohoo!
All right. The very first E-Days was held in 1934. Who was the president of Mines at that time? A, Melvin Kubal, B, Regis Chamonix, C, Victor Alderson, and D, Ben Parker. You keep track of our winners, Ruth, as we go?
It looks like we have a winner right off the bat, Rod McNeil.
All right.
There is A, Melvin Kuba. Woohoo!
Well
Good
done.
job, Rod. Okay, I wrote it down. I've made a note. So, yeah, got to be quick to the chat.
Here we go. Which event has been a part of E-Days the longest? A, fireworks, B, cart pole, C, mining games, and D, tug of war.
Looks like Ross McFadden McFadden. Gosh, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing. Ross, you're the winner. The answer is B.
Excellent.
Orchard pole.
Well done. Well done. Our third question. The Clear Creek boat races are an exciting part of E-Days each year. In addition to cardboard, students are allowed to use only one other item to construct their craft. Which one is it? A, masking tape. B, staples. C, duct tape. D, glue.
Okay, let's see now. I see a correct answer from Blakely, but we've got two answers. A B and a C, and then I see a C from Rod. The answer is C, duct tape. But Rod, you already won, so we got to go. Oh, B was from the last question. Thank you, Blakely. Okay, so Blakely will win that then. Answer is C, duct tape. Well
There we
done.
go.
Okay, let me make note. Okay.
All right. Blaster became Mine's official mascot in 1954, the miniature burro. In the early E-Day years, approximately how many miles would Blaster have walked down Colfax Avenue to the Colorado State Capitol with students for the Orchard Pole? A, 5.5 miles, B, 12.5 miles, C, 8 miles, and D, 14.5 miles.
Da, 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 da. Woohoo!
Starting
Okay,
to get some
Blakely's
answers.
answering again. Blakely has already won. The answer is not B. I guess I can say that. If anyone else would like to venture a guess in the chat, I'm keeping an eye on it. Stu, B, no. D, Rod, yes. D is the correct answer, but Rod, you already won. So how do we do this? Let's see, Andy.
Rod's paying attention, I tell you.
Rod's on it. Okay.
And Rod,
Okay.
as an alum, you should know these, right?
Ah, that's a little bit of a tricky question because I know most recently, and Lala and Alexandra, if you're with us still, you know that the Orchard Pole, I think, doesn't necessarily start on campus anymore. It starts a little bit further east, like on Sims or something like that, and goes to the Capitol. Is that right?
Yeah, it's like Colfax and close to Sims, Colfax and
Yeah.
Robb, I believe. Mhm.
So if you calculate that, that's more like 8 miles. But if it's all the way, like from Guggenheim all the way to the Capitol, it's 14.5. So, okay.
So, one last question. Lala, Alexandra, you can jump in on this too. So, final question. Mine's fight song is unique tribute to the early days of the school. In the first verse, how many pounds of sugar are needed to make the famous whiskey that every ore digger takes clear? A, 100, B, 200, C, 500, D, 300. There we are. Lala's right on it. 300 pounds. Yes.
100. Okay, and so for that, Lala, I think that you'll probably have to sing the fight song so that we can hear it. Not to put you on the spot or anything, but hey, no, you don't have to sing it. I'm kidding. But with that in mind, I might just say, and I'll show this to you. This is what our winners will receive today. It's a copy. Can you see this? Oh, there we go.
In and out.
Yeah, there we go.
Copy of the fight song.
Golden tech. Okay, it's a very cool limited edition copy of the Mine's Fight Song, suitable for framing, or you could put it on your fridge or put it on your bulletin board in your office or whatever you would like. So super fun. And thanks to Kelly for pulling those together. And while we have just a hot second, Kelly, maybe you want to talk a little bit about what we did for E-Days with our M clubs with the fight song, the scavenger hunt that is happening, and more trivia this weekend.
Yeah, thanks, Ruth. So this year for E-Days, we wanted to involve ore diggers around the world, although we're not able to get together as we usually are. We wanted to get the spirit going and celebrate. So last week, M Club Denver hosted a scavenger hunt. So they hid the fight songs all around the Denver metro area for alumni to go out and find. And from what we've heard, all of those were found. Maybe one got found by the wind, but we're not sure. And then this week, if you guys are on social, we've been posting a fight song somewhere on campus every day. And the first person who guesses the correct place, which they've been guessing them within the first 30 seconds of us posting, so someone is on it, will get mailed this fight song printout as well. And then tomorrow, no, I keep thinking it's Friday. It's kind of rough. On Saturday, we're going to host an E-Days trivia at 11 o'clock Mountain Time. We have about 130 alumni signed up to join us, and there's going to be some great prizes, including an alumni Yeti, as well as a Patagonia bag. So really excited to see everyone and celebrate, and look forward to seeing everyone on campus again soon as well.
One thing about the fight song, Harry Briscoe has a wonderful little writing. You know, he likes to create these things that dissects the song. So if you had a barrel of rum, approximately 42 gallons,
Okay.
and 300 pounds of sugar, you'd have some sort of a sludge.
That'd be like paste.
There really isn't anything you could drink. And then if you put it in the campus, in the college bell to mix it, and the clapper to stir it around, well, I'm not sure there's a bell big enough. But then it's also contradictory in saying that at Mines we drink our whiskey clear. And if there's anything that the sludge of rum isn't, is clear. So you might want to ask Harry to write that up, and maybe we'll put it in the magazine, okay?
I love it. I love it. And of course, there's always the controversy with, Georgia Tech, whose fight song is it anyway? And I
There's
think,
no controversy
I
there,
think if you
Ruth.
look back, it's ours. We got it first.
No
Am I-
controversy, Ruth. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to see Harry at the end of the month. I'll mention that to him.
Yeah, have you said, yeah, I've got a copy somewhere and I can maybe get it into the magazine.
That's fun. That's so fun. I love it. Okay. Any other questions for the good of the order for Alexandra or for Lala about E-Days this weekend, or Kelly? No? Okay. Before I hand it back over to Andy to close us out, and as always, I want to make sure to put in a plug for next month's E-Days. And that is taking place on Thursday. Sorry?
We only do E-Days once a year, Ruth.
Oh, did I say E-Days? Sorry, Lunch Bunch. Yeah, E-Days on the brain. Lunch Bunch will be May 20th, Thursday, of course. So mark your calendars, same time. Information is posted on the website, but we will shine the spotlight next month on the HASS program, HASS, which stands for Humanities, Arts, and Social Sciences. So you're going to hear from the department head, Hussein Amory. You're going to hear from Bob Klimek, who runs the Mines Music Department, and Sandra Woodson, who oversees some of the ethics courses that are taught. So it's a little bit of the right brain side of Mines that we'll look at. Of course, all in the spirit of creating a well-rounded engineer, which we work very hard to do. So May 20th, HASS, 12 to 1, right here. And you can go to weare.mines.edu to register, and you'll receive the link in your confirmation email. Okay, and we're working hard to fill out the rest of the schedule. In fact, Bill, I was going to mention to you, since you were talking about it earlier as you logged on, Geophysics is going to do an update and pretty in-depth look at what's going on in their world, and that's scheduled for September. So that's down the road, but was sort of on my mind as you were talking about it. So we'll be posting all of these programs as we go along. We have a behind the scenes of the Mines Museum coming up. And we will also do an overview of the electrical engineering department with Dr. Peter Ain, who's relatively new to Mines. He's been with us about 1.5 years. So some exciting stuff. stay tuned.
Great. Well, thank you, Ruth and Kelly, for helping out with the program today. And thank you, Lala. Alexandra might have dropped off, but we appreciate all that you're doing. Certainly, congratulate you on your pending graduation in May, and I'm sure you'll have a very successful career ahead of you. So thank you very much for helping put our E-Days together. So it's a big part of the school, and it's a memory for everyone that they'll take with them the rest of their lives. So, and thank you all for joining today. We appreciate your participation in the program. If you have any ideas, please share them back with us. And we'll just like to leave you with a go Ore Diggers.
Woohoo!
Have a great day.
Wow.
Thank you all
Stay
for joining.
warm, Lala. Stay warm to this weekend.
I'll try my hardest.
Yeah. Woohoo.
Bye.
Take care, y'all.
Enjoy. See y'all.